soy la super Comadre Claudia de Cafecito, and you are listening to these amazing guests that I have here next to me who are going to be talking to us about who they are, what they're doing, and why we should listen to these three amazing women that are sitting here in La Mesa Azul, here at a Blancas Cafe. So, as you know, I've been doing the show from, in a little room at my house, and then Liliana Elizondo is the one that takes all the live streaming and puts it on our social media, and I thank her for that. Unfortunately, she is not with us today because she had to go and take care of some family down out of town. But I'm here, and I want to make sure that we are here for you because I love this platform. I love the idea of having a chance to elevate amazing women, amazing comadres sometimes, and their stories and their journeys. So I want to start off with a little bit about what's up with Let's Live Comadres. So we were scheduled to do the recording last Tuesday, but unfortunately I had a bit of a health scare, but I'm okay. I'm going to be vulnerable, and I know this is hard for me. I know you might not believe that. But I'm super warm. It's okay sometimes to not be so super. And I've been dealing or working through anxiety attacks after having had COVID. I've never experienced things like this. And my doctor said it's kind of post-COVID type stuff. So I'm embracing that as much as I can because I'm a perfectionist. I'm recovering from that. And I need to also, like I was telling my new comadres, sometimes I need to sit my butt down. And these panic attacks or anxiety attacks have kind of recalibrated me to stop and listen and make sure that I'm okay. Because when I'm okay, my students are okay, my own kids are okay. And it was just a little bit of a scare, but I'm good. So I'm still keeping up with my yoga breathing, my yoga, eating healthy. Saying no, because that's one of my New Year's goals, I guess, is knowing when to say no, and that means I'm saying yes to me. So, without further ado, I also want to give a shout out. So we have like Cafecito. So, Cafecito, and this is our amazing sponsor, Blanca.
Hola, verlos de nuevo. Bienvenidas a todas.
Muchas gracias.
Ya saben, aquí tenemos un poquito de todo. Las agüitas lácteas son excepcionales. La próxima vez que vengan la tienes que probar, pero tenemos de todos los cafés, café de olla. Me gusta tener sabores latinos mezclados un poquito con algo un poquito más moderno. Y aquí estamos en el segundo barrio. Come see us anytime. Just enjoy your time here and welcome.
Thank you. So super excited because I heard of the red table talk.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I like this Mesa Azul. And it reminds me of this woman who's an artist. Frida Kahlo.
Yeah.
La Casa Azul. I'm like, wait a minute, La Casa Azul? La Mesa Azul. So we're going to keep on. We're going to call La Mesa Azul. The Mesa Azul. So I just want to take the time today to make sure that we know who you are. And I know you've been out there already. You see the faces, I see the posters, I see las cartulinas everywhere, and I'm excited to have you here because it's so important for people to know por qué deben votar. ¿Quién está corriendo? So there we are. So it's just a matter of making sure that people know who you are, what you're running for, and why the importance of voting, especially for some positions that people are used to, like the president. Vamos a votar por el presidente. Okay, vamos a votar por el gobernador, el alcalde. But then we have all these other positions. So I'm going to just go one by one to introduce to the viewing audience and listening audience to my new super comadres. The first one right here is Hello. And then we're also going to have a little bit of Selena. Names, right?
Yes.
Yeah, post-COVID pod. And then we have Janelle Robles. And each one has one. We're going to go through your introduction, what you're running for, and then we're going to go to the next one and the next one. We're going to have just a couple of questions. It's all about you and why In what? All right, so Pamela, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you, Monica, for hosting. So my name is Pamela Medina. I'm actually running for judge of the probate court number 2 here in Harris County. So anyone in Harris County can vote for me. I'm running a campaign, and my theme, rather, is the compassionate and qualified candidate. And why that's important. Probate courts are where your family ends up when your loved one passes away or your loved one unfortunately loses their ability to care for themselves. And there's various areas of the probate court. There are trust creations. Somebody else acts as a beneficiary and takes care of finances for a family member. There's guardianship. The court must assess whether a person needs a guardianship or not. There's the appointment of a guardian. There's decedent's estates. That's where somebody has passed, and we now have to go through the will, heirship, as well as the estate administration, appointment of an administrator, appointment of company secretary of the court. So those are all the areas of the probate court that the probate court has what's called jurisdiction. And those aren't litigation areas, those are non-litigation. But anything that happens to not go properly or family's not in agreement, that's when you do and possibly have trial litigation around that. Litigation is a smaller portion of the probate, but those areas that I just mentioned, when you're dealing with a family member and going through any of those, it is a very sensitive time in life, right? It's hard when you lose somebody that you love. It's hard when your mother and your father is that they need care because they can't take care of themselves. It's hard when you have to give over, funds to a bank so that they can ask for the trustee. Those are difficult times in a person's lives. And I'm running on the platform of qualification, but as well compassion. That's important. We need a judge that has that compassion, but also has the qualifications. I've had my law license since 2007. I have both a private law firm as well as a corporate experience in those areas that I spoke of. The compassion as well as the qualifications. Very important. And I think when you have those types of things coming into your courtroom as well, it's important that your staff are treated very fairly, safe, and protected. And that they come to work every day with your work skills and with your court. I think as well, the judge should apply the facts as they're written. They should give an unbiased approach to every party in the courtroom. And a lot of the community work that I do also touches on everything that I spoke about. Not only probate expertise, but just being in the community, knowing that I'm out there working, doing lots of pro bono work to try to bridge the community and the community involved.
And which community do you think suffers the most or needs it the most? And is that what your comedian is saying, this is why I could be? What areas or what do you see as far as the need?
So while I've been campaigning, obviously I'm visiting all sorts of areas of Houston. And essentially, when I'm out there, second ward, third ward, acres homes, those are where the people that I'm talking to, we will just sit and talk about what's missing. A lot of it is just that know-how. How do you go to the courtroom after somebody's passed and you don't know? But more importantly, how do you get to a place where you're not very comfortable financially? How do you get to a place in planning where you actually don't have to? So
Wow. So what I'm hearing is that you're seeing a lot of the people that need the most, maybe don't have access to a lawyer, money, there's a big need, and I do hear a lot of families that at the end of time, their consent's over. And then you show up, and then you kind of get taken.
It's very expensive. It can be very expensive.
Yeah,
And a lot of Houstonians can afford it, and it's just not a financial burden.
it's just knowledge.
There's a whole lot that cannot. So trying to bridge and create that information source is one of my passions prior to running, but it's also something that I intend to continue doing.
All right, so you heard it here. Why probate court? I'm learning something new all the time. you get so much information, and okay, I need to get that person, and I'm not sure why, but this approach I take too, is I take the approach of learning while I'm here. I'm an educator, through and through, and I always come to the table with wanting to learn more. So you really broke it down. Like, I know I've heard little pieces here and there, but you broke it down beautifully as to why maybe someone like that lacks the compassion, that can sit and listen to the need through the stories, and then explain to them, like, this is how things could go. And it's compassion. That's a really good word. Because we need a lot of that around right now. Compassion.
Yes.
And so I'm going to go on over to my next super new comadre, which is Selena Alanis. I had the chance to meet both of you through a mutual friend. I'm going to give a shout out to Tony Garcia. So I get to meet these amazing women leaders through Tony Garcia, who does a lot of work for the community, has his own business with SEC Hills. And just Selena. First of all, beautiful name.
Thank you.
Beautiful name too, but anything for Selena. And on the way over here, you were blasting.
I was listening to Selena Lozino's Bitty Bitty Bom Bom, so I need a Bitty Bitty Bobo.
There you go. So Selena Alanis, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're running for, your position, and why.
Okay. So I'm Selena Alanis. I was born and raised in Rio Grande Valley, and I'm here in Harris County, living here for the past 12 years. I live here in the East End as well. I went to school at Texas Tech University, and my office is in Midtown here in Houston. I'm running for judge of Harris County Criminal Court Law Number 6. I'm running on the platform of integrity, of compassion as well, and building trust back into the community. We're at a point right now in Harris County where we do need to build back trust into the community, and representation matters. Harris County is a very diverse community, and we need to have that reflection on the bench as well. I have been practicing immigration law and criminal law for the past 12 years. I do bring that experience of immigration law to that bench. I'm the only candidate who brings that immigration law to the bench at this point. And so I've been practicing immigration law in Texas, all throughout the United States. I represented unaccompanied minors, pro bono. I've done SIJS cases, asylum cases. And most of my clients do have an underlying criminal offense, which is important in this bench to know what type of consequences happen and occur due to a criminal conviction. And a person, if they're not properly admonished, that conviction will last for the rest of their life. And that is daunting to so many people, because just having a quick way out is not the solution for a lot of people in desperation mode, and whenever they're out of custody or out of the criminal situation, then when it comes time to adjust or try to petition for something, whether it be immigration, whether it be housing, whether it be employment purposes, they have that mark. And so, my goal is, when I become judge of this bench, is to educate the public, educate the community. Hey, this is what's going on. This is the process of what the criminal justice system is. Understanding what goes along in the criminal justice process and what consequences that person faces according to the charge that they have. Now, this criminal court bench is a county court bench. It's a misdemeanor bench, so it's lower level offenses, Class B misdemeanors, Class A misdemeanors. So the lowest level that can punish a person in these cases is 6 months in custody, $2,000 fine, up to 1 year in custody, and up to a $4,000 fine. So they're lower level misdemeanors. And so, but just because it's misdemeanor doesn't mean that they do have consequences. So these convictions do carry consequences for many individuals. And I do believe that educating the community and educating the public as to what these consequences are, it's just something very important that we should start doing. We should start, implementing into courtrooms. So I want to bring that to the bench.
All right, so thank you. So, and what I'm hearing is that we should match the consequence to what they did. Is that what I'm hearing correctly? Or
Educating the criminal justice process,
Okay.
what occurs throughout the entire process, from arrest up until disposition. So up until the case closing, whether it be a dismissal, whether it be a plea bargain or trial, or going to jury trial. So
and just be knowledgeable of what road to take before it might lead them to something that could be detrimental.
absolutely,
For something that might be minor.
absolutely.
So it kind of reminds me of the saying, like, you don't want, like, you got the book thrown at you. Like,
Yes.
is that what we're talking about?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because someone walking into the courtroom, they're scared. It's scary. It's a scary process for them. So actually educating what goes on could possibly just, hey, you know what? Let me go ahead and make an educated decision as to what we're going to do, working with our attorney and going through that process. So streamlining basically.
Okay. All right. So thank you. All right. So Janelle Robles, tell us a little bit about yourself and the position you're going for.
Thank you. So I'm running for County Criminal Court at level number 2. It's also a misdemeanor bench, the same level that Selena's running for. There are 16 misdemeanor benches in Harris County. 15 of those are up for re-election, and 15, yeah. And they were voted on countywide. So anybody in Harris County can vote for us. As Selena was mentioning, it covers misdemeanors, minor, low-level offenses. Most of them are non-violent, some of them are violent, such as the assaults or the assault family member. But those are first-time assault family member cases that do not involve a weapon and do not involve serious injuries. So anything that does involve a weapon or serious injuries or a second domestic violence offense, that would be a felony.
Okay.
So we handle the first-time offenders. Some of those assault cases end up being like somebody slapped somebody. That's enough to get you in jail. And so most of the folks that are coming in this court are also first-time offenders. So it's a great place to kind of intervene and address the issue that brought them into the courtroom to begin with, so that we don't see them in the criminal justice system again, and we don't see them committing the same mistakes again. I am currently employed as a public defender here in Harris County, and before I was a public defender, I was also a prosecutor. So I've handled both sides of the criminal cases. I've handled simple cases from low-level Class C misdemeanors all the way to serious felonies. I've handled them from initiation all the way to trial on both sides. When I was a DA, officers used to call me and ask me if I wanted to accept charges on an individual. We had to go through the facts to make sure we met the elements, we met probable cause, and that sort of thing. And then as a public defender, I started out in the bail division, so when folks would get arrested, I would represent them at the jail. So I've seen both sides, and I've seen a wide array of colorful cases. But I've seen the approach on both sides. So that's something that I feel my experience makes me unique to serve on this bench, because I understand the prosecutor and I understand the defense attorney. And I understand what it means to fight for a victim and defend the victim, and I understand what it means to fight for an accused, somebody who's accused of a crime. Some of the experience that I also bring is I worked on criminal justice reform before I was an attorney. So I looked at a lot of data and research and did some policy advocacy before I went to law school for Harris County. the criminal justice system. I mean, it's a huge system in Harris County. I think back then I remember hearing that 70% of the county's budget went to just administration of justice, but of course that includes even the civil courts. So like the criminal and civil and like the whole, so it's a big chunk. It's a very, yeah, I mean, I don't know if the number is still the same, but 70% is a lot for the third largest county in the country.
Right.
So I became familiar at that time and then currently during my practice with some of the most pressing criminal justice issues of our time in Harris County. So I feel like this perspective is going to help on the bench. I also briefly worked in immigration law for about 6 months. And I was also an immigrant rights activist before I became an attorney. So I had that passion of really fighting for folks, making sure that immigrants are treated fairly and equally. Equity is very important in the courts. Everybody should be treated fairly and equally. Not one person should get a worse punishment or a worse bail just because of who they are. And it should just, so equity is important. And I think as Selena mentioned, something that is missing from the judiciary is understanding of immigration law and the immigration consequences and the intersectionality between criminal law and immigration law.
Immigration.
Wow.
It's a whole niche area. It's a very niche area. Yeah, but it's huge, and there's a lack of understanding of the judiciary. So I think we need that.
Okay, well, thank you, Janelle. Thank you, ladies, for women, super comadres, super women, for getting into this arena. First time running?
Yes.
Yes, first time running, okay? I'm gonna go and give a little bit of a speech right now, not a speech, but a little bit of the verbiage for today, and just, now while I do that, I just want to put the question out. When was the moment, and whoever wants to go first, when you said, you know, I gotta do this? Or did you think about it twice? Did you think about doing it? And okay, maybe I am, maybe not. And okay, now's the time to do it. When was it when you thought and you felt in your heart that okay, it's time for me to step up and run and do this? So I'm going to think about that. You can talk about it if you want. I'm going to go over here and say a few words. All right. So as you know, I'm here at the Comadre. I want to read a couple of words that. This is a joint campaign activity under Section 253.1612 of the Election Code, and it is not an endorsement for Pamela Medina, Janelle Robles, or Selena Alanis, none of whom endorse one another or any other judicial or non-judicial candidate. So I just wanted to put that in there, but if you are joining today, you know, it's just super important to make sure that we are involved, either voting, getting others, encouraging others to vote, going online and looking at the candidates. Who are they? What do they stand for? How does it affect you? Because you may think, oh, judge, probate judge, I don't even know what that is. But now we're getting a chance to meet the women that are potentially going to step into these roles, onto this bench. And you want to make sure that if you ever find yourself or a family member or someone in your gente in that type of position, that you know that these are people that have been there, done that, have the experience, have the passion, and can see, you know, all areas that need to be looked at in order to make the best decisions. And so these are women that are well versed, super experienced, ready to take on what needs to be taken on to make sure that there is a fair chance for everyone. You know, that, and like what Janelle said earlier, you know, making sure that whoever walks through the door, that they're treated just like anyone else. A human being that's here, just living and working, sometimes makes big mistakes, little mistakes, and figuring out how to guide that decision and go through that process. All right, I'm going to bring it on back. Did I say it correctly?
Yeah, okay.
All right, so this is our first cafecito and besito with los candidatos here on Casa Cafe. I'm going to have a few more coming up, and there is a timeline for voting. Now, yesterday was 31st, right?
Yes.
I'm sure already in February, which is why I have my love here. So, yesterday was the last day to register to vote. So, when is voting happening?
Valentine's Day. Early vote starts on Valentine's Day until February 25th. and election day is on March 1st. So come out and vote, come out and visit us at the polling sites. We'd love to see you there. We'll be there. We'll be there and
Show your love.
show your love.
Vote for yourself, your family, vote for your future, your kids, bring your family.
Bring
Come
your
show your
neighbors,
love for the ladies, the superwomen,
vecinos, amigos,
las comadres, las abuelas. Yeah, because in the end, it's making these decisions that are not just going to affect us today, but these are long. I mean, if you get elected, how long is that? That's 4 years, right? I mean, we've had a governor that's been in office for like 30 years, I think. So, no comment here. But anyways, so yes, also on the ballot. Next time I take a cup of sweet of this, I mean, it's just tea. So one of the questions that I posed was, at what point did you feel like, all right, I'm ready to throw myself into the lion's den? Whoever wants to take it first.
I'll go first.
Go for it, Jen.
So I decided last fall. I was very uncertain about it. I think I decided towards the end. Most folks were already in it for a few months. But I think it was around October that I said, you know what, I'm going for it. And I was very scared because, of course, I mean, I'm the first one to even go to college in my family. You know, it's a scary process to navigate. Don't know how to do it. But I come from sort of an activist-y background and always like trying to be purpose-driven and always thought like, how can I serve the community in a bigger capacity? And so I decided to go for it. I thought of my mentor, Maya Jimenez, who passed away about over a year ago. And I was like, I know she would have told me to go for it. And she definitely would have told me. So, and decided to just go for it, you know, and I think it was also because I'm in the courtroom every single day. My office is in the Criminal Justice Center every single day. And so I see how it works, and I see some of the issues, and I know how being in a judicial position can kind of help improve things for folks. So that's sort of when I decided and how I decided to go for it.
When you were saying that, you reminded me of the quote, do something that scares you every day.
Yeah.
That is a magnet I have on my fridge. Every time I go in the morning, do something. Okay, Gaia, I know it's scary. Thank you. Thank you for stepping into that fear and embracing it, and then going and using that, you know, to get you through this, because we do need more hands like you.
Thank you.
All right. Next.
I'll go next. So I was around the same time that Janelle decided to run as well. It was about a month and a half before her that I decided to run, and I decided to go for it. I do feel that there's been, you know, the time is where a person has to really have the knowledge to understand what type of consequences our candidate faces during these proceedings, and I've seen it for 12 years. I've spoken at judicial conferences to teach the judiciary about the consequences that, you know, they face, and also with my colleagues, I've spoken at COPs, and so, you know, and here we are, you know, and so I decided to run, and I'm really excited to run with so many fellow Latinas and women of color. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and it's just exciting and just empowerment of so many wonderful candidates to into this position and for the bench itself.
I see her from Janelle. So now, what about you? When was that moment that you're like, this is it? I gotta throw myself in there. Let's go.
I decided to run in May, a little soon, maybe sooner than a lot of others. I have always known I was going to run eventually at some point in my life. I grew up in a very civically engaged family. You know, I knew about voting when I was really young. I'm kind of that friend, you know, and it's just like, have you registered? Yeah.
Let me go pick you up.
I love it. I'm gonna pick them up with.
Yeah. All people are
Right.
everybody's going. So just that civic engagement definitely has, and then you have this passion for law and this passion for civic engagement. You meld them together.
Right.
So I've always known when I first graduated law school, I was at the bank, and we were at a networking event, and I heard about a judge who I knew was at a large bank in their justice in the state's division, just like I was rather, and then went into private practice, and then served for 28 years. And he was a little cleric judge. So I went up to him and I said, "Listen, I'm hoping to follow in your path, right?" And he smiled genuinely, just a sweet older man at that time. And so that's exactly what I've done. Followed in his footsteps, and I hope to as well, make others excited about maybe becoming a judge, and also just appreciate what I bring to the bench initially.
Absolutely.
So I have an ask. I don't know if once you become judges, I do work with students. A lot of them, most of them, maybe a large number look like me, sound like me. So I am really passionate about bringing voices and faces and people that reflect the community and share their successes and also talk about their challenges. Because you don't know who's listening right now. You don't know who's already thinking, like sitting on the edge, like, okay, I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to run next time. Maybe I'm too young. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm too late. I'm not a lawyer, but all those, you never know who's out there listening. So with that in mind, that's a long, arduous road. You out there campaigning, you out there walking. What is it that the viewing and listening audience can do? Like, let's say they're listening right now and like, hey, I want to get involved. What is it that they can do, and how can they contact you if they want to be a volunteer? Maybe they want to give of their time, their talent, their treasure. To support your campaigns, because these campaigns are not easy. They're not free. So it takes money. It takes footwork. It takes knocking on doors. So how can people get involved? So you want to start with you, and then you talk about how to connect with you and what they can do to support your campaign.
Sure. So you can go to PamelaMedinaCampaign.com. That's my website.
Get your phones out.
Pause. Pamela Medina Campaign.com. Dana, M-E-D-I-N-A, campaign, CAMPAIGN.com. There's a menu. You'll see the donate button as soon as you get there. You can see all of my supporters, all my endorsements. Very proudly. There's an event section, and I have 2 events coming up. One February 10th, a very dear friend of mine, Elizabeth White, is hosting. And then February 19th is going to be a Get Off the Boat festival. A good friend of mine as well, Hilda Cibrian, is also hosting that. So February 19th, 846 North Loop, from 11 a.m. to 4. We will be giving out free barbecue and music and games. And everybody can come out and just enjoy the day, learn about my candidacy, learn about me, and bring your family and friends. I'd love to see everybody there. Of course, donations work wonderful. That helps us get those. I don't know if any of you received them, but when you get those mailers at your home that discuss who we are and why we're running, those are why we use and ask for the money that we ask for and where we use it. Volunteering, my email is on the bottom of my website. You're more than welcome. Just reach out. You can volunteer block walking, coming to my events and helping, volunteering in an event, phone banking
which is really, really easier than a lot of people think. It sounds complicated, but it's pretty, they've made it really easy. You can phone bank from home. You would just,
Comfort of your own home.
you
So
know,
you can stay in your pajamas and
Yes.
volunteer. See, okay, there's no excuses. You can volunteer your time by just at home in las pijamas.
you know, it doesn't take anything, you're just on the phone. Yeah, and Harris County, we always say that, Harris County Democratic Party, you can get in touch with Monica at harrisdemocrats.com, and she'll put you in touch with not only English phone banking, but Spanish phone banking, because as we mentioned earlier, our population in Harris County, I believe, is 46%. Something like that.
It's almost, it's like close to half.
Close to half.
So Latino, Spanish.
Phone banking in Spanish, we definitely need that. And that helps us, that helps all of us. The more the Latinos are uploading, but informed voting. I
Yes.
Informed numbers.
Yeah.
Informed voters.
Know who you're voting for, know what you're voting for. Be knowledgeable, be knowledgeable, because a lot of times we're just like, oh, let's just do that.
Yeah.
It's like, we gotta know who we're voting for. Because sometimes we vote for people, but we vote for people that we're like, oh, we're gonna vote for so-and-so because they sound great, because they have this great hat or whatever. And so we gotta make sure you know who is there and what their intentions are. Look at their service. Look at what their actions. I always say, one thing is saying things, but what do their actions say? And their actions always speak louder than what they're saying.
Right.
So that I think is super important. So, and if you didn't catch everything right now, because apparently we didn't put all her info, what we're gonna do is come back and on the comments and on the show itself when we air it, we're gonna make sure that we have all the websites and go back in there so you can click on it, wake up, and you're volunteering on the phone. You don't have to put your makeup on. You don't need a ring light. Just start doing the phone call.
Just get your cafecito.
And I just got Cafecito. I remember doing some phone banking now where it was super easy. All you needed was your phone.
Yes.
And I think a laptop or maybe just your phone, and then you get a call and you're on it, and it automatically just takes you to the phone call.
Yes. And you have to click on the next one.
Yeah, if they don't answer for certain many rings, then it hangs up and it goes on to the next person.
You don't have to call.
Right. Amazing. I was on a person who ran for governor but didn't win. But anyways, I helped on that campaign. All of my personal opinions have nothing to do with the radio station. But I just worked on the federal campaign many times, and I was like, "Whoa, this is really cool! I can go nowhere." Because the last time I did campaign or phone calls, I just had my kid. She was like 5 months in the Porta de Vida, the carrier. We went to the Obama campaign headquarters, and I just put her on top of the table. And we had to go to a location, and they had like lines of phones, like you could use their phones, or you can use your phone. And then they gave us a big old gigantic clipboard with a bunch of names, with letters that were teeny tiny, and I'm like, I can't. Okay, but my kid was asleep the whole time, so I was able to volunteer.
Yeah.
So she was wonderful. Yeah.
Wonderful too.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then this time they're like, oh, we're gonna do more phone banking. Okay, I'm ready for the big clipboard. I'm ready to go somewhere. No, we just did it.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Because
So it's very convenient.
Yeah.
We just did phone banking.
So you're new parent.
In Spanish.
Yeah, and you're new parent. You don't even go anywhere. You can change the diapers right there, feed the kids, and just put your little earplugs on, and you're done.
That's right. All right.
So, Selena, how can people get in touch with you? What do you need? How can people help out your community?
Sure. So you can contact me. My Instagram handle, my Facebook is Selena for Judge. It's SELINA, almost like the theater, but one letter off. So Selena for Judge. I'd love to have anybody volunteer, walk, phone bank. Another thing is we do need people just to show up to the polls. We need people to get out and vote. It's important. If you don't know where you can vote, on harrisvotes.com, you can log on, you can see the early voting polling locations, and you just put in your name and your zip code or your BUID number, your voter ID number, it can show you where your nearest polling location is, and you can show up there, or anywhere that's near to you, anywhere that's near to your office or anywhere. There's also a sample ballot on the same website. So you can actually research and look up the candidates so you can be properly informed as to who you're voting for. So there are sample ballots, so you know who's on the ballot, how long the ballot is. Please vote all the way down the ballot. That's also an important thing. So just make sure that you just get out there. That's the main goal and objective that I would love everybody's help at, just to show up to the poll and vote and make your voice heard, because your voice matters through your vote.
Oh, it's actually harrisvotes.org.
I'm so sorry. harrisvotes.org.
And we'll put all those little websites and where to go on the comments. You can come back and click on them. And it's so easy. Like yesterday, on the last day to register to vote, I get these reminders and I click on it. And it's super easy. You click on it, you just put your address or your zip code or your birthday, first name, last name, your birthday. There's several ways to work. Well, and it tells you within seconds. Like if you can go on and make a TikTok, you can go on and look to see if you're registered to vote.
And find the polling location and the sample ballot. And we'll see you at the polling location.
Yeah, and it's in English and Spanish.
Yes.
So everything, you can find it in English and Spanish. Está en español, en inglés. Si ustedes no saben si pueden votar o si están registrados, hay muchas maneras fáciles, ¿sí? Y como nosotros podemos hacer muchos TikToks, hacer lista, podemos también buscar si estamos listos para votar. Así es que es así de fácil. Y si quieren también hacer ser voluntarios con esas mujeres maravillas, ellos están pidiendo de su tiempo y tienen hasta oportunidades donde no tienen que ir al lugar. Pueden estar en sus casas con su teléfono, les mandan unas claves y pueden hacer llamadas para recordar a la gente, a la comunidad, que vayan a votar en qué días y qué es lo necesario para ir a votar. So, all right, now I'm gonna go back and agree. So Janelle, what about you? How can we get in touch with you? What do you need? Tell the listening viewing.
Thank you. So we a few ways to get involved with the campaign. They can check out my website, roadblessforjudge.com. They can also learn a little bit more about me there, and there's also a button to donate. Obviously, these campaigns are a little pricey, so it takes a lot of money to buy a lot of the materials and things that we need. And social media, they can follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. We're also Roadbless for Judge, both of them, and they can sign up to volunteer there. So that's basically how they can get involved with the campaign. As Selena was mentioning, and Pamela, really get informed as well, right? The ballot is very long. I think it's about 3 pages long. So my race is actually on the 3rd page.
So
yeah, our races are on the 3rd page. I think county commissioner is also on the 3rd page. County clerk, district clerk, county judge too. Okay.
She's not gonna be.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. So some of those other very important races are also at the end of the ballot. So make sure they get all the way to the bottom. And if they want to see if you want to see a sample ballot, you can go to harrisvotes.org. There's also a helpful website for the League of Women Voters, which is a nonpartisan, objective publication. I think it's called vote411.org. And so that's where folks can go to find out, vote411.org, to find out a little bit about who the different candidates are and make a more informed decision. I mean, obviously they're hearing about us here, so they're already informed about who we are, but there's several other races on the ballot. Sometimes folks are intimidated by how big the ballot is or by not knowing who's running and what these particular positions entail. So I think that would be helpful. And a lot of folks don't know. It's also Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah. So es importante sacar la voz porque mucha gente no sabe que hay una elección en marzo, en febrero y en marzo.
Y también de hablar sobre las posiciones de ser juezas o jueces, porque mucha gente no sabe qué es lo que está sucediendo en las cortes con los jueces y las juezas. So, thank you for having us here. Really, thank you.
No, thank you, but thank you. ¿Puede decir un poco en español? Like, who would be like ready to just kind of give a little summary, a short summary in español, the importance of your positions, like in general, like why is it so? That way, the Spanish-speaking audience could hear, like, okay, well, this is why I need to vote. You became a citizen, you got here, or you were born here, maybe your first language is Spanish. My first language is Spanish, even though I was born here. I mean, you don't know, right? So, ¿por qué es importante de saber las posiciones, especialmente ustedes que están buscando la posición de ser juez? Un poquito en español para que puedan conocer a la audiencia que está escuchando.
Bueno, estas posiciones son importantes. Yo estoy corriendo específicamente para la Corte Criminal número 2, que es una corte a nivel del condado que se encarga de delitos menores. Es importante tener estas posiciones porque nosotros somos la mayoría en este condado, los hispanos. Desafortunadamente, la representación de los jueces y las juezas en el condado de Harris no representa la población hispana. Desafortunadamente no tenemos personas en esas posiciones que entiendan nuestro lenguaje, nuestra cultura, nuestra comunidad y nuestras necesidades, que son muy específicas. Entonces es por eso que es importante votar en estas posiciones para elegir a personas que conozcan a las necesidades de nuestra comunidad. No sé si ustedes también quieren agregar un poquito sobre la importancia.
Sí, para tener un poquito más entendimiento también de nuestra cultura, nuestras necesidades, nuestra cultura de ser latinos. Es importante ir a votar porque su voz es su voz. Y es importante porque si no votan, entonces pues, no contó en ese tiempo, ¿verdad?
Y no ganamos.
Si no votan, no ganamos.
Sí, y nosotros hispanos estamos ya casi por el 45% de la comunidad aquí de Houston, de Harris County, del condado de Harris. So, es importante que tenemos a personas en las posiciones de juezas que entienden nuestra cultura, que entienden que necesitamos en la comunidad y cómo podemos ayudar y dar para atrás a nuestra comunidad también, para que podamos hacer más fuerte la comunidad.
Sí. ¿Algo más que quieran agregar?
No más que es muy fácil para obtener información de los candidatas. No se sale el sitio de la web y si también podemos hablar contigo.
Y también pueden aprovechar
Otra charla también.
Sí, yo no te quiero, ¿verdad? Que con este tipo de show, it's a platform to elevate voices, journeys, resources, because, typically, my audience is basically people like me, and a range of 29 through about 50 something. Yeah. So these are the women that make the decisions.
Yes.
That, they're working out of the house, they're working, they're staying home,
That's right.
they're making decisions on the daily.
Yeah.
And we tend to tell people what to do. So why not use that? Right? And say, hey, let's blow the sail this way, because this is going to support us and unite us and grow us as a group, as a collective group. And your position, like you said, is it's not just for one group, but you're going to benefit people. Right. You're going to benefit the people that have not had the chance to quickly get someone on the line that, yo tengo un primo que es un lawyer and te puede ayudar. We don't all have that.
Right.
I know someone, hey, my neighbor right here in River Road, so he's a lawyer, so I can call him about,
Right.
Midnight, what you need doubled over, you're telling them to tell them this, and my lawyer's on his way. We don't have that. So we gotta make sure that those that have had that access or that privilege for as long as we know time, that now that there is a pause and a regroup and a reset and to keep everyone in line. And not everybody has that compadre that's a lawyer, that madrina that's a lawyer, that has una cuenta de banco. That's another thing, is like the privilege of having a bank account that has been growing for generations.
Right.
You know, we're not just talking about just a bank account per se, un banco, but like a bank account of lands, of homes, of here I can liquidate something.
Right.
Because Nico needs this. So we have people that are working paycheck to paycheck. We have people that are still trying to build their wealth in a very small way. They're just getting started. So we need to make sure that everyone's accounted for.
Right.
Whether you just got here, whether you've been here, whether you're still growing, whether you're still developing your wealth and your position here and this amazing land that is still in its infancy. You know, that we see that change is good.
Yes.
That change is needed. You noted earlier, I think it was Janelle or something about the numbers, right? We're looking at research. We're seeing the people who are affected the most. We're seeing where budgets are used the most. We're seeing who are the people that are incarcerated for minor things that they have book thrown at them the most. We're seeing who are the ones that are affected when they're trying to get empleo later on, or trying to go to college, or trying to sign up for something, and all of a sudden they get to the part of the application where you're out of the running because of some stupid thing that you did, and you didn't have that top lawyer friend, compadre or comadre, come in and get you out. And I'm not saying that you should you should not receive a consequence. Consequences, I believe, as an educator too, should be given to students according to what they've done.
Right.
Exactly. You listen to all the students involved. I just had that yesterday. You listen to all the students involved. You listen to okay, and one at a time. You come together. You then take it to the principal, who's kind of like the judge, and then the parents get called. That's kind of like the lawyers, right? And then the best punishment is given to the student as well, the consequence, as far as like what was done. Right? Versus me taking it upon myself, by myself, to just listen to one version and then assume, oh, you're just like the rest of them.
And it's important because, walking in here, you want somebody who's going to be fair and impartial and listen to everybody's side and be fair.
And that takes a certain personality. It's not in there for every human being. Unfortunately, God gave talent, and not everybody is the exact same.
And have the temperament as well to be on the bench and listen to everybody's side and not be, one side or another, and treat everybody like a human being. No matter where they come from, no matter who they love, no matter what they look like or what color they're, it doesn't matter anything.
That's for sure.
A human being.
Judicial candidates, they require unbiased, fair treatment, every party and litigant. And the judge is also supposed to, as well, not only be unbiased in their approach, but ensure everybody in the courtroom also is biased.
It's a lot.
Right.
It's a lot to consider, to keep in mind that's power.
It's very powerful.
Being on a bench is power.
Very powerful.
So you should have trust in the person who is on that bench and trust in that power that you're explaining.
Yeah, on my website, I quote Barbara Jordan, and she states, if you have the opportunity to serve others, make sure you do something good.
Absolutely.
Barbara Jordan right here.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But I also want to say one last thing.
Yes, go ahead.
All four of us. It just came to me last night. I thought, we're actually our grandparents' friends.
Oh, I love that.
Love it.
Yes, that's beautiful.
I love that. It's on a t-shirt. We are our grandparents' training. Yes. So with that in mind, we're going to close with the last question. I guess question. We all stand on the shoulders of giants. I'm a daughter of immigrants. My grandfather, my grandparents. I am who I am because of the number of people who supported me, who sacrificed for me, and I am now the shoulders for my students, my kids, people that look up to me. So I am there. I want to know if you could share, and if you could give you a quote or through an experience or a person who was that shoulders, or who were the shoulders that you would like to thank right here out loud, as far as that, you know, or that one particular set of shoulders that really was just there and that propelled you, or a couple, a story. Who are those shoulders of giant, those shoulders that you would like to just say thank you to today?
I know.
How much time do we have?
It's a lot.
It is like one pair that has been coming to me lately is my grandfather. Jose Pepe Gonzalez. And I don't know why, it's just been at the forefront of my brain. And I guess maybe because of what happened to me last week with the anxiety attacks. And I remember my grandfather. I mean, he was a musician. He had a shoe shop that has boots on Elgin and Westheimer. And he was just a man that, as a kid, you just see him as your grandfather. As a young adult, right before he passed away in 2009, that's when maybe when I had my own kids in 2009, I started seeing my grandfather not as a granddaughter, but as, wow, this man had his own feelings, had his own goals, had his own dreams.
Yeah.
And those are the shoulders that I've been thinking about lately. Because he was a person that liked doing shows. He was a person that liked making music. He was a person that liked, making shoes and making people happy, their feet happy. Right? But to think about him as his own person, away from my grandfather, away from his own kids. Because I got a chance to see my grandma and her siblings and my grandmother like, why are you doing that again? What is this going to get us? And he was all about like, it brings me joy. So right now, I think with him being at the forefront is I'm looking at what are the things that bring me joy and holding on to that. So that's why I'm thinking about those shoulders. And next week it might be my mom's shoulders. So I guess with that in mind, is there a personal experience right now that really comes to mind as a person as you run potential and I'm going to say potentially and step into this role of being a judge? Because we spoke it.
Yes. Spoken existence.
Shoulders.
You guys can go.
You can go first.
I mean, it's there's so many, and all of them really are from my family. I mean, you start off with your grandparents; they're the rocks of our family, right? None of my grandparents are still with us today, but you still remember everything that they brought to your life, and the joy that you had every single holiday, and the sacrifices that they made for your family. My family were also, they were migrant farm workers. My parents were as well. And it was a tough time to bring, food to the table and to see the sacrifice that they made for our families, and to have, my cousin and I are both attorneys. He's a state representative. It's one of those things, and my uncle, like, he was a state representative. He, politics was pretty much everything. You kind of grew up into, this band before band existed.
Right.
And so we kind of get, chocolate and kind of work numbers, and, my dad to having a positive light to shed on every single situation. Find something positive about it. Exactly. And my mom was just, she was getting her master's when she was pregnant with me, and the sacrifices that she's made for me, and trying to go to get my graduate degree, and even I love numbers, and I think it's just because of her, and she's has her master's in mathematics, and it inspired me to go get my master's, my MBA. So it's one of those things where it's the majority of all my family. And, my Dia, who's just the most kindest person. My dear Connie is just Connie. such a wonderful person in my vida, you know, just always being there for anything that we need. You know, you can call them in the middle of the night and see something, a positive, you know, quote or a positive phrase that will tell you. It makes you just keep going, no matter what it is. It doesn't have to be about the campaign. It can be about, you know, the dog.
Yeah.
It can be about anything.
It's weather.
Absolutely. The weather, right? And it's just something beautiful. You know, tomorrow it'll be sunny or, you know, something like that. And I just love that. And, you know, that's kind of where, you know, we come into play, try to bring that positivity into the community and positivity into people's lives. And if we can have a change, a positive change into somebody's life that comes into the criminal justice system, then we've done our job.
Shoulders. Or red clothes.
Okay.
Shoulder shout out. We'll call it shoulder shout out. Okay.
So definitely my father and my mom. My mom is just the spiritual rock of our family. Literally, a friend and a good friend will call and say, "Please have your mom pray for us because we know your mom's prayers work." You know,
Yes.
that's really awesome. As well, literally every day of my life, my mother would work 7 a.m. until 9 a.m. work. So I feel like that's our work ethic. That's our work ethic. I know. That's what, so even the campaign, it's not been as hard as what many people might think. So working 14-hour days. My dad was usually the reason why I love civic engagement and law. That's his, you know, it's kind of goes back to what I said earlier. We are our grandparents' dreams because unfortunately they didn't have the opportunity to go to law school. Neither of my parents ever thought, you know, it wasn't that. So those are my 2 tonight. Next time I'll give you more shoulders.
I have all of them.
So your shoulders.
I
would like to share.
I would say mi mami y mi abuela. They have been, you know, my rock. Abuela, I used to go work with her when she was a housekeeper, and I would go, you know, as a teenager, and so after school, I would go with her and do that. So she taught me all about work ethic at a young age, and respect for that kind of work, because it's difficult work. And she also was very civically engaged. You know, the council members in Pasadena know who she is, and they always go drop off goodies and yard signs. And yeah, so she's very civically engaged as well, and is always telling her friends to go vote and that sort of thing. So yeah, and my mom as well. And just everything they've sacrificed for our family. You know, my grandmother moved to Pasadena from Reynosa, Mexico, in in the mid 1960s.
Okay.
So she's built a family of 4 generations in Harris County, living and thriving. And you know, she showed up in Pasadena at a time, you know, KKK, and it was not very and so it was just kind of like, wow, she survived those times. You know,
I don't know how she did it.
with 9 kids.
Wow.
Oh my God. She has 9 kids. So she's just a huge inspiration for my mother. So they're my shoulder.
So we're at 8:03. I was going to ask. But thank you so much for coming and sharing and opening up and why we should go with, you know, what you're running for, because in the end, every decision that we make is based on, when people say, well, I want to get involved, I want to get involved in politics, everything's politics. And you are involved. You are involved. From the drink you have, so we're going ahead and close up today. It's been an amazing Super Comadreo with my 3 new Super Comadres who are seeking these positions. Make sure you vote. Make sure to check your registration. So when you go and you are registered to vote, they're not going to tell you if you're not. And it's as easy as making a TikTok, like, you know, Instagram, and if you can do that, you can go on these websites and make sure that you are good to go to vote. So don't forget, it starts on what day?
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, and then it goes for 2 weeks.
Yes,
25th.
25th.
And then voting, the actual date is March 1st.
4 weeks.
4 weeks away. 4 weeks away.
Election today,
All right.
election day.
As you know, 4 weeks away, it's on the dot. So thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for being here. Thank you
Thank
for being at La Mesa Azul.
Yeah.
Let me get me started now. La Mesa Azul. So we're gonna have a Mesa Azul talk.
Yeah.
Alright, so y'all keep talking a little bit while I go ahead and close it up over here.
I'll make sure you know the baby Coco.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Take your take your family, take your females, take everybody. Yeah, exactly. We'll see you there.
Alright, well, saludos a todos. We'll see you there. And don't forget to register. Don't forget to follow these amazing women. Follow them, like them, fan them, donate to them. Become a volunteer, and we'll see you next time. Our show will air again on Saturday on all social media platforms and on RadioCrystalUSA.com. And don't forget that my show repeats every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning and again at 10 o'clock at night. So don't forget to go to RadioCrystalUSA.com to listen there. And don't forget to follow us, fan us, like us. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. I think we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're everywhere. So don't forget to listen. We have amazing music. So while you're at work, while you're working at home, go ahead and go to RadioCrystalUSA.com, listen to the amazing music. All right, well, I'll see you later.